Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Thursday, the 8th of August, 2024. So the synoptic situation, and this is as of midnight last night. You see this low pressure way out in the Atlantic has got a whole load of fronts, actually hundreds of miles ahead of it. And by midnight, it had pretty well hit just the very edge of Ireland. And if I run it through to midday today, you can see it splats right over the middle of the country from about 12 o'clock onwards, and clearly associated with these warm fronts is lowering cloud and rain and the like. If I run it forward to tomorrow, we can see that actually we might have a reasonable day out of tomorrow. But if I go any further, Saturday, possibly a bit of decent weather before that front, and then Sunday is going to be a little bit messy. So spot winds today around about anywhere between about 220 and 240 degrees, but notice the strength's up at 35 knots as this front approaches. Cloud, I started on this side because I want to show you the Arboin wave they have at the moment. So if you haven't got your name down already for the Arboin expedition, I suggest you do. This is the sort of weather you could be expecting up there, whilst the rest of the country is wallowing in squalor. But if I go back down to where we are now, you can see quite clearly this approaching front. We are literally right on the very edge of it now. The clouds are going to get thicker and thicker and thicker until we get all this heavy rain associated with the actual fronts around about midday, I think. Rain, so there's a rain on the front. We're actually clear at the moment. And if I run through the predicted forecast rain, so this is about 11:30 today. I expect it to hit us reasonably clear up to around about 11:30. But any time after that, we're going to be stuck under it pretty well through the day. I don't think we're going to get a clearance for this evening, actually, but there's a small chance there might be. Local forecast indicating overcast and rain all day. Max temperature around about 17 locally. Southwest winds about 12-15 knots, but notice the gusts, please. Any time from about 11 o'clock onwards, 26-28 knot gusts of wind just before the front arrives. GFS is indicating max temperature today around about 22 with a dew point down at 13. And view outside the window is overcast. You can see I'm going to call this today, I'll call this winching cloud base, and actual weather at the moment 17 degrees at Lasham with a dew point down at 15. And I've just put this in to show the winds slowly starting to increase. You can see it's a steady increase now. It's nothing disastrous at the moment, but I think in the next couple of hours or so they're going to go up to gust of 28 or thereabouts. Odium, the METAR is showing few clouds at 1300, scattered at 3000. And if you look at the TAF, it's a very, very long one. It's duplicated basically under Farmer, so I'll spend a bit more time on that. Get a quick refresh. Okay, right. So Farmer are saying 6 knots southwesterly wind initially, few clouds at 4000, and then deteriorating between 11 o'clock and 4 o'clock local, 8,000 meters, rain, light rain and drizzle with a 40% probability between 1 and 4 o'clock, 15 knots gusts of 25 knots, and between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock today, broken cloud at 1,000 feet. So that mirrors pretty well what I mentioned earlier. Top meteo, clearly nothing going on today. And if I run through the significant weather for today, so this is at 10 o'clock this morning. If I run this through, you can see we've got overcast, clouds come in now, and showers. So this is at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock, just before the heavy rain starts to hit us. So we're going to be good, I think, for 3 or 4 hours. SkySight duplicates what we expect with the weather, and they're a little bit less optimistic about the cloud. We're talking about 2,000-foot cloud now, but a steady decline in cloud base until around about 1 o'clock. So it's still going to be about 1,000 foot there. Winching clouds, I call it. But of course, we're 600 foot above sea level here. So we really do need to make the most of the next few hours. No TAMs, don't want to spend too much time on them today because we're not going to be going too far. But the local ones are Barton Stacey and Ash Ranges. Okay, so then a few things to pick up on the briefing. This advanced notice really of tomorrow. Odin have got their Families Day tomorrow. There are going to be restrictions on the local airspace. There's this ACN AR 2024 1652 refers to it, and I've taken some relevant bits out at the moment. But the two significant things are the airspace between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock local is going to be increased from outside of their mats, and the red arrows are displaying from 1340 to 1450 local, and that will take in a Lasham, so you won't be able to operate over that time. If I just expand slightly, so this is the airspace for Rhodium, surface to 4,000 feet. So this is from 11 till 5 UTC. Surface to 4,000 foot, and you can see where they are in relation to Lasham. So we just get away with normal northerly circuits throughout the period, but we're going to be a bit closer in the normal. And if we run to the red arrow segment, this is between 1340 and 1450 local. Their airspace takes in Lasham, so we won't be able to operate at all during that period. We might get a good visual reference for the display because they'll be over, as I'm sure, a couple of times. Okay, so the cross section then, we got this frontal system coming in, the weather's steadily, the cloud getting steadily lower and lower and lower. I call this wind sloshing cloud, and obviously after about 1 o'clock thereabouts, it's going to be pretty too low. A strong wind warning, 26 knots, I've highlighted down here, but otherwise 210 thereabouts, winds 10 knots or thereabouts, not too disastrous until the front actually arrives. Okay, a few notices today. We've got a Beach 200 supposed to be going on air test from 1 till 2. I don't believe that'll happen with the weather. A Beach 2300 departure. That's a modern aircraft, I think. It's actually a 200. We'll be departing at 4 o'clock if the air test is successful, but I don't think they'll be doing that air test today. Deteriorating weather, prefrontal throughout the morning. Rain expected, but I've said 11, it might be 12. So wind launching cloud base up until the rain. 12 knots southwesterly winds, a gust of 28 expected. So we'll set up on a dry 2-3 runway. 2 K21s on the bookable list with Alan and Bob, a K21 on course line with Mike, 4 and SH7 on the bronze to silver course with Merv, or the bronze to Merv course, as I put it. K21s, Ken Moore and John Wright. K13 is booked with Ken and John, and remaining 2-seaters on casual list. A couple of church notices, please. Please close and lock the doors for the parachute cabin and the battery cabins behind you. The battery cabin was left open all night with the door wide open. Please do not leave unused gliders outside the hangar in the rain. So if you're going to get gliders out to get whatever gliders you need out and the weather is going to be inclement, please put them gliders back into the hangar. And a general reminder about the buggies, and please listen out on the radios. Simulator will probably get used today, and it's working very, very well, thanks to Sam and his team's efforts. Okay, here's a booking list. Al Melmore, Bob Johnson. It's full, duo and everything, but all the single-seaters are all available, K13, with Ken and John. We'll be on runway 23, a normal operation. The wind is slightly around from about 220 degrees thereabouts. I suggest we get out as soon as possible, make the most of whatever weather we're going to have today, and I'll see you out there shortly. Take care. Bye-bye.